Hello and welcome back, or welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sarah Reina, and on my channel we talk about spirituality, consciousness, grid work, the new earth, etc. So welcome to this video. We are going to be talking about grid work, do a little what is grid work 101 video today, because I know that this topic is becoming a little bit more common. 5 years ago, when I first started to really actively do grid work, nobody really knew what it was. It was like just reserved for communities of people who did it. But like the general spiritual population didn't really catch on to what grid work was then. But now it seems like everybody's like into it or like wants to know what it is. Like you've probably heard the term grid work or heard grid workers talking about doing grid work missions, but you're probably like, okay, but what actually is that? Like, what is grid work? So let me break it down for you in this video. I do have a full grid work module inside of my New Earth University program. So if you are interested in diving deeper, that is definitely an incredible place to start. So I'll make sure that is linked in the description box below. But for now, let's talk what is grid work. So grid work is actually kind of challenging to explain because it's different for different people and it looks different in different circumstances, if that makes sense. But just generally speaking, grid work is working with the ley lines, the chakric vortexes of the land to essentially recalibrate Earth's energetic flow and release pain, release trauma, release fear from different grids or points of the earth. So for just example, doing grid work in Egypt might look like releasing a lot of the energies from that empire falling. Doing grid work in let's say Uluru, for example, might look like restoring power back to those who are conscious on the planet. But essentially you're working with the different ley lines, chakric vortexes, different structures such as like Stonehenge or the pyramids in order to support in reestablishing the natural energetic flow of this earth that has been distorted, clogged. If you really look it up or really like have the education to it, you'll see that in almost every single sacred site there is some sort of like Masonic temple or some sort of kind of like darkness to it, because those who are elites have also understood that these are sacred sites and they hold very strong energy. So they've also put their own darkness there in order to work and use and essentially distort that energy. Now, grid work looks different for a lot of people depending on what the mission is, what the work is that you're doing. And so this is kind of just the best way to give a general understanding of what grid work is. But a grid work mission is going to look different for each person, and you usually don't know what you're going to do in advance in terms of grid work. So for example, like I've done grid work missions where I've helped clear patriarchal programs from Bell Rock in Sedona, and then cleared Eve's curse from Cathedral, for example, masculine and feminine vortex. And so your missions look different depending on where you are, what you're doing, etc. Now, a really common question that people get is like, but what actually is grid work? Like, what are you doing? And there's a couple answers to that. So first of all, grid work doesn't necessarily mean you're doing anything other than receiving a call to go to a specific part of this planet and going. 99% of the time without knowing why you're called there, why you need to go there. For example, I'm filming this, just packed for the airport. I'm going to Costa Rica. I don't know why God is sending me to Costa Rica, but I'm going to Costa Rica. You don't know what the mission is usually before. Sometimes maybe you know, but I never know what I'm doing before I get there. But a grid worker will get a call to a specific location and you kind of just drop everything and just go, which is really powerful. So other times you will be doing specific missions or specific things. So let me for the example of Bell Rock, like I was there to clear patriarchal programs. I woke up one morning and it was just like, clear the patriarchal programs from the planet. I'm like, okay, let me go do that. And so for me, that looks like doing like deeper quantum healing work that I'm trained in for over half of a decade to be able to do that. Sometimes it looks like physically and astrally going into the ley lines and, redistributing the energy, clearing out what needs to be released there. Some other examples of like actual grid work missions. I've been outside of Anne Frank's house doing a lot of clearing over there in Amsterdam. I've done a lot of clearing through Europe. Europe is so dense and it is There's so many incredible ley lines here. So there's a lot of spirituality, but there's also so much darkness. So I find Europe is honestly the worst place in the entire world from a grid worker's perspective. I'm actually in Europe right now and I'm like, get me out, worst week of my life. So yeah, there's a lot of work, and it's not necessarily like fun or glamorous. Like if anyone like makes this lifestyle look glamorous, like it's not. It's painful. Like you're feeling pain, you're clearing things, you are releasing density. Like I've done so many different things where I've had to release the pain of the land, clear wars, clear famine. You're clearing essentially from your physicality being in a specific location, past experiences on earth, so that earth and the people can fully and truly shift into this higher frequency, because we've had war, we've had pain, and so sometimes you'll be sent to these sites to transmute the energy. So things like being sent to like Normandy to transmute war, for example. Now, this is just a little bit of an introduction on grid work. The most common sites that people will be called to if you're in America is like Sedona and Mount Shasta. Those are like the top two, I would say, for America. The other, sites that you might be called to at the start of your grid work journey might be things like Egypt, Peru, Stonehenge, Glastonbury, Uluru, Araki, Mount Cook, if you're down in New Zealand. But there's so many different powerful points all around the world. Some points are chakras. So for example, like Mount Shasta, the pyramids, Uluru. Some places are just higher frequency vortexes. So Sedona, for example, Arthur's Pass, etc. Some are on specific ley lines. So think like Glastonbury, Stonehenge, a lot of the places in Europe are just on really powerful ley lines. So this is a little introduction on Gridwork 101. If you are like, okay, amazing, but I would love to learn more. Like I want to learn about the chakra vortexes. I want to learn the difference between a chakra and a vortex. I want to learn exactly how do you like arrive to a location and know like what do you do there. All of these things I cover inside of the Gridwork portion of New Earth University. So if you want to learn more about New Earth University, this is my big New Earth program. We cover quite literally everything to do with the New Earth, and you also get an incredible community of other like-minded souls so that you can actually build out the New Earth. So not just the New Earth being some sort of social media trend or concept, we're talking the red-pilled side of, we actually need to go out and build the New Earth. So Gridwork is included in that course. At this exact moment that I'm filming this, I'm deciding if I'm taking the Gridwork portion out and also going to be offering it as a mini course. So if I do end up doing that, that will be shown in the description that you can just sign up for the Gridwork portion if you're not ready to sign up for all of New Earth University, because it is a big year-long mastermind in 2026 with already created content as well. So if I do end up doing that, you'll see that in the description. If you want me to do that, if you're like, yeah, I just want to learn about Gridwork, I'm not ready to sign up for like the big New Earth University program, let me know in the comments or send me a message on Instagram or something, or an email if you have my email. And yeah, maybe I'll pull that course out and also sell that as like a little mini introduction course. So I'm sending you so much love. Make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. If you have any video requests, things that you want me to cover, things you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments below and I will make videos based on your requests. So I'm sending you so much love. I also do offer one-on-one Akashic Records readings and quantum healings, as well as mentorship. All the information for how you can work with me will be in the description box below. And we do have 2 Gridwork missions next year. So that information you can access by directly messaging me. And I'm sending you so much love.